Chapter 1. The Nature of Perspective. So, how can we reduce the loss in translation? One crucial step is developing awareness of our own biases and recognizing that other perspectives exist, often vastly different from our own. Each individual carries a unique set of biases shaped by life experiences, which color their interpretation of the world. Perspective, therefore, is more than just a point of view. It's the sum total of everything a person has experienced. Think of perspective as a lens through which we process the world. Every person sees the world through their own distinct lens, shaped by countless factors such as upbringing, culture, personal experiences, emotions, and even fleeting moods. The philosopher John Locke, in his essay concerning human understanding, introduced the concept of tabula rasa, suggesting that our minds begin as blank slates and are shaped over time by experiences. This idea emphasizes how perspective is accumulated through life, with each new experience contributing to how we perceive the world around us. As time passes, our experiences create filters through which we interpret everything, from the simplest interactions to the most complex ideas. As a result, even when two people experience the same event, they often describe or understand it differently. For instance, two people may read the same book, but their personal contexts, education, beliefs, and life experiences will lead them to focus on different aspects and walk away with distinct takeaways. One person may see a story about perseverance and triumph, while another may view it as a cautionary tale about failure and misfortune. Maurice Merleau-Ponty, a philosopher of phenomenology, explored this subjective experience of perception in his work Phenomenology of Perception. He argued that perception is never neutral, it is always influenced by the body, context, and past experiences. Our personal backgrounds serve as filters through which we make sense of reality, meaning that no two people ever experience the world in exactly the same way. In essence, perspective is the personal filter through which we interpret the world. This difference in perception forms the foundation of how we give meaning to everything we encounter. Understanding these differences is crucial in navigating human relationships, communication, and trust. George Herbert Mead, a sociologist and philosopher, introduced the idea of the social self, arguing that our sense of self is shaped by social interactions. This aligns with the idea that our perspectives are constantly evolving through our interactions with others. We see ourselves and the world through the lens of these interactions, making every encounter an opportunity to adjust our perspective. Immanuel Kant suggests in his theory of the phenomenal how the world appears to us and the noumenal the world as it is, independent of our perception. That truth is mediated by our senses and experiences, not necessarily as it truly is. We can never fully access the noumenal world. Thus, the truth we experience is always subjective, filtered through the limitations of our perception. Kant's work reveals that our understanding of reality is inevitably incomplete, shaped by individual viewpoints. This introduces the idea that our reality is not objective or independent but is constructed through our perception. Friedrich Nietzsche took a more radical approach by arguing that truth itself is a construction, often wielded by those in power to shape reality. In his view, there are no absolute facts, only interpretations. Nietzsche's critique of truth aligns with the notion that truth is a flexible concept, changing depending on perspective and context. In human relationships, this fluidity of truth becomes even more pronounced as each person brings their own biases, beliefs, and interpretations to every interaction. For Nietzsche, truth is not a fixed entity but something that can be constructed, deconstructed, and reconstructed depending on who controls the narrative. As perspective filters our experiences, it also shapes what we understand as truth. What might be an unquestionable reality for one person, based on their past experiences, biases, and beliefs, could be an entirely different truth for another. While facts may be objective, truth itself is more fluid. This fluidity makes human interactions complex and, at times, difficult to navigate. In examining the role of perspective in shaping truth, Michel Foucault provided insights into how power structures influence what is considered to be truth. Foucault argued that truth is not merely about discovering objective facts but rather a process of discursive formation, where certain perspectives become dominant due to historical, social, and political forces. His ideas align with the notion that our perspectives, and consequently, our truths, are shaped not only by personal experience but also by societal power dynamics. This adds another layer of complexity to how truth and perspective function in communication. In summary, perspective is the framework through which each individual understands the world. While it's possible to reduce the loss in translation by becoming aware of differing perspectives, we must also accept that truth itself is flexible, shaped by personal and societal forces. Navigating these perspectives with awareness is essential to building stronger, more meaningful relationships, while acknowledging that complete understanding may always remain out of reach. Look out for the next post, The Nature of Perspective.